It's very infrequently that I open videos with a reminder and a caveat that we at Rasmussen Reports are not alarmists. We've been polling daily on public opinion since the early 2000s, so we know when something big swings. On some topics, public opinion barely budges over the years. For instance, how north of 60% of Americans consistently rate Christmas over and over again as our nation's most important holiday. On other topics, public opinion can swing incredibly fast, faster than our ability to poll on it. Here's the topic of slavery reparations, getting 23 points of support in just 3 short years, driven overwhelmingly by Democrats and to some extent independents. As an aside, to this day, we have absolutely no idea what caused that rapid shift on reparations. Some people have said it was Asheville, but I really don't think that got enough attention to be the source. My working theory is that it was a new president taking office that openly embraced a progressive agenda, rapidly shifting opinions on a whole host of topics like that. But let's talk about things that public opinion probably shouldn't be swinging fast on. Things like the likelihood of cheating in our elections. That's something that we've been polling on for almost 3 years now. And as the only pollster touching this radioactive topic, we need your help. Please like the video on YouTube or Rumble, and please subscribe to our channel. It'll help make sure that more people see these videos. But let's look at the latest benchmarks. We've asked about cheating in the 2020 election, and the number of U.S. voters who think it was likely has now risen to 61%, with 43% saying it's very likely that cheating affected the outcome of 2020. Only 32% of voters say it isn't likely, and only 23% say not at all likely. So voters, by a 2-to-1 margin, think that cheating affected the outcome of 2020. And if you got 10 random Americans in a room together, 6 out of 10 of them would say that cheating was likely. Only 2 of the people in that room would be adamant that the presidential election in 2020 was not affected by cheating. That is pretty sobering considering the nearly 3-year-long 100% blackout on big media and tech on the topic of cheating in elections. The most secure election in history and all that. And so starting in the spring of 2021, every single time we've asked that question, at least 6 or 7 times, more than a majority of Americans say that cheating affected 2020. Going into 2022, we never saw more than 49% saying cheating was likely to affect that election. But that number, as of the last time we asked it, was 52%, with only 38% saying that cheating didn't likely affect the outcome of some races in the midterms. Only 25% said it wasn't at all likely. And that's pretty important because there weren't any national races to fully capture the entire country's attention. Well, outside of Arizona, 71% of U.S. likely voters thought it was likely that problems in Maricopa affected the outcome of at least the Senate election in Arizona. Only 23% said it wasn't likely, and only 13% of them said it was not at all likely. We presciently suspected that cheating might be an issue in 2024, so 3 weeks ago we asked, and 54% of voters said it was at least somewhat likely that cheating will affect the outcome of the next presidential election. And 41% said not likely, and only 24% of them said not at all likely. So for the first time going into an election, we have a majority of voters expecting that cheating is likely to affect the outcome. But where are we today? Much worse. Now, 66%, 2/3 of likely voters, say they're concerned that cheating will affect the outcome of 2024, and 40% of them say very concerned. Only 32% say not concerned. So there's your 2-to-1 margin, and only 15% of voters say they're not at all concerned. That's the worst part for me. Only 15% of the electorate is confident that cheating won't taint the outcome of the next presidential election. Here are the party numbers. 80% of Republicans are concerned, and only 18% aren't concerned. And 54%, a majority of Republicans, are very concerned, while only 8% of Republicans are not at all concerned about cheating. Here's a pro tip for all you establishment Republican candidates out there hoping to take down Trump. If you aren't addressing the topic of election fraud, you are not addressing the Republican electorate. I'm sorry that by extension, it might involve defending Donald Trump, but that's where we're at. Donald Trump, among Republicans, has by far the highest favorability numbers. And he even tops the chart among all voters as well. I just don't see how you're going to never Trump yourself into relevance when our election integrity, the very heart of our representative democracy, is at stake. At least according to Republican voters, a growing majority of independent voters, and a pretty good chunk of Democrats as well. 64% of independents are concerned about cheating in the upcoming election. 37% very, and only 33% are not concerned. But 55% of Democrats are concerned as well, a majority, and 29% are very concerned. Only 43% of Democrats aren't concerned. Now, obviously, most of those Democrats don't support Trump. But this is what you get when you conduct an unprecedented blackout of discussion on a topic that, according to most voters, absolutely does have merit. Oh, and by the way, Biden's strong approvers are least concerned of anybody about cheating in the upcoming presidential election, but you probably didn't need me to tell you that. Now, a controversial new song made the top of the iTunes chart this month from an unlikely source, and 49% of voters agree with the premise in the lyrics that there is no way that Joe Biden got 81 million votes in the 2020 election. 33% of voters strongly agree, and 35% strongly disagree. By the way, Newsweek, with literally half of the country agreeing, is it really a conspiracy theory? 72% of Republicans at least somewhat agree, and again, a majority, 54% strongly agree. Only 23% disagree, 15% strongly. 45% of independents agree, and 42% disagree, 32% strongly. But almost a third of Democrats agree that there is no way Joe Biden got 81 million votes in 2020, 19% strongly. Only 57% of Democrats strongly disagree. Now, this is a really strong statement for poll participants to agree to, but the fact seems to remain that despite all the efforts to suppress, ignore, or slander people raising questions, 2020 has, perhaps irrevocably, destroyed faith in our electoral systems. And the public opinion numbers are only going one way. And that's really important. It could almost be said that by this point, voters know more about both frontrunner candidates for the next presidential election than they do about the safety of their own vote. So maybe it really is election integrity that's on the ballot this time. We would love to hear your thoughts on where you think this is going, so drop a comment at YouTube, like the video while you're there, please subscribe at YouTube or Rumble, follow us on Twitter, and thanks for watching.